again. So the steps for multi-digit division are daddy, mommy, sister, brother, dog. So D stands for daddy, division. Mommy is multiplication. Subtraction is sister. And then BD is bring down. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to say, how many times does 3 go into 5? So how many 3s fit into a 5, Jacob?
1.
Okay, so you put the 1 up here and then you multiply. 3 times 1 is what?
3.
So you put the 3 down here. Now we multiplied, so now we subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2. And then you bring down. So whatever's next, whatever digit is next, you bring it down. And then you start back up with division. 3 goes into 27 how many times?
Wait. 9.
And then we multiply. 9 times 3 is 27. And then we subtract. 27 minus 27 is 0. Then we bring down until we run out of numbers. So we have one more number. We can bring it down. And then we do the process again. 3 goes into 9. That's our division step. How many times? 3. Then we multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. And then we subtract. And then there's nothing left to bring down, and there is not a remainder. If there is a number down here, then we would put R, remainder 3 or 2 or whatever the number was. So that is one way to do it. They want you to learn another way. So basically what they're saying is to do that way, and then they want you to do another way, which is, I don't see what page it's on. Okay. So doing the same problem, this is the way you would do the other type of way they're going to teach you. So you're going to say, how many 3s would fit into 579? So I know 3 times 100 is 300. So you're just going to try to get this number lower by using things that can bring this number down to 0. Does that make sense to you, or do you need me to explain that again?
It makes sense.
Okay, so we know 3 times 100 is 300. So far we have 100 as our number, and that leaves us with 279. So I know that 3 times 100 is 300. So what's a good number that we can bring this number down by? Well, I know that 3 times 90 is 270, right? Because 3 times 9 is 27, and then we put our 0. So do you think that would help us bring our number down? Yes. And then we have 9 left. And then we say, how many 3s fit into a 9? 3 times 3 equals 9. So the answer is 193. Does that make a little bit of sense to you, or have you gone over that yet?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so let's try this one.
Yeah?
Yes.
But we're not learning that.
Yeah, but you're going to be learning it, so I want you to have your first time be with me, and then your teacher is going to explain it, and then you'll be ready for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's try it with this one. 12 goes into 168 how many times? So I'm just going to pick a friendly number that makes sense to me. So how can we get this 168 down? By multiplying something times 12. 12 times what?
That's 12
12 times 12?
times uh 9?
Okay, do you know what 12 times 9 is?
No.
Okay, so we want to pick a friendly number that we could say, oh, 12 times 10 is something. So what is 12 times 10?
120?
Okay, that's a friendly number. I can do that in my head. So then we do 168 minus 120 is 48. What are you doing? Are you walking around?
I'm throwing my single weight.
Okay. So are you able to see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay. 12 goes into 48. So what number could I use to bring that number down? We want to try to make this 48 turn into a 0 by using friendly numbers that we can do in our head.
Okay, so like 12 times 14.
So do you know what 12 times 14 is? So friendly numbers are numbers that we can do in our head.
Oh.
So like 12 times what would equal 48? What's your guess? 12 times
4.
Okay. And what is 12 times 4? It is 48.
48?
So now we do 10 plus 4 is 14. So that is our number. Honey, can you go sit at your desk? Because I don't think you're watching. I see you moving all around and I see your eyes everywhere, but I don't see you looking at what we're doing and writing it down or trying to understand it. So maybe it's better if you sit at your desk.
I am on my desk.
Okay. Okay, you're back in your room?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is one of the other things that you're going to be doing in this chapter. And then the third way is they're going to ask you to do this third way of division. Let me find the page that it's on. Okay. So that looks fine. Okay. So the third way is doing an estimate. We talked about estimating last week. So if they asked you what 350 divided by 5 is, what's your estimate on what you think that answer might be?
58.
Okay, so I know 5 goes into 35 how many times? 7. And then this 0 has to be put back here. So my estimate is 5 times 70 equals 350. Because I know the fact family that 35 divided by 5 is 7, and 5 times 7 is 35. Does that make sense to you, or does that not make sense to you?
It doesn't really make sense.
Okay, so are you writing this down as I'm doing it?
No.
Okay, do you think that would help you?
No.
All right, why don't you try it? Because I know a lot of times when I have to learn something, writing it down helps me a lot.
Yeah, I'll get a piece of scratch paper.
Okay, so if they asked me how much how many times 60 went into 1,350, I know that 6 times 2 is 12, right? So I'm going to use the friendly number of 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, but I'm doing a 60 times 2, right? Because this number is 60. We're just using this as a friendly number. And then that would give me 120. So that's close, right? We have 120 and this is 135. So all I have to do is add a 0 on here. And what would that give me? That would give me 6 times 2 is 12, and then this 0 right here, and this 0 right here. So that would give me 1,200. I think that's a pretty good estimate. How about you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say that I think 60 times 20 is my estimate. And so all you're going to do is find a friendly number that goes into something that you can do in your head. So let's find out what the real answer is and see how close we came. So 60 goes into 1 0 times. 60 goes into 13 0 times. 60 goes into 135 2 times. 60 times 2 is 120, and then I subtract. 135 minus 20 is 15, and then I put a 0 there. 60 goes into 150 2 times, and I know 6 times 2 is 12 with a 0 at the end, and my remainder is 30.
Okay.
So, Jacob, are you still moving around, honey?
No.
Okay, I see the camera going all over and moving. Okay, did you write this down?
Uh-huh.